No matter the purpose, when building an AR-15, you need to start with a solid foundation. And what do I mean by this? As we all know, skill is the most important thing you can invest your time into. But having a rifle that can perform at a high level with consistency will make much more of a difference. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Griffin Armament Mark II in the 14.5 configuration. Full transparency, Griffin Armament did send this rifle out to me, and I discussed with them that I wanted to give this rifle a fair shake and to share any results that I find, good or bad. They agreed to this, and now it's been about a month and a half with about 1,200 rounds through the system. Many of you have spotted this rifle in a few of my previous videos and wanted a review on it much earlier. But I didn't want to shoot this rifle for 1 week and post a video because I didn't see that as being a viable way to test the platform. With that being said, this rifle became my training rifle and my competition gun over these past 2 months. And I'll be the first to tell you, I did not treat this thing with any grace. Before we get too far in this video, I'd like to say thank you to our channel sponsor, Obsidian Tactics. Obsidian Tactics is an online retailer that offers a curated selection of high quality and high value products that have been vetted throughout the 2A community. A lot of the items they offer are well-known brands that you may already be looking to purchase. So go visit Obsidian Tactics for all your 2A needs and wants. The wait is almost over for the Concrete Cowboy hoodies. You guys have been demanding these for quite some time now, and I can confidently say that these hoodies are dropping next week on May 22nd. This Save the Tree hoodie is gonna be a one-off design and there's gonna be a limited stock. So if you wanna up your chances on getting one of these hoodies, make sure you visit concretecowboy.store where you can join the email list. That way you get notifications on upcoming drops and potential early access. All right, back to the video. To start off, I want to make it clear that this isn't a do-it-all rifle build list video. This video is primarily going to be about what you should be looking for when choosing a platform to build a do-it-all setup off of. I do want to go over some of the specs on this rifle before I go into the nitty-gritty of my overall thoughts on its performance and usability. So starting with the furniture, the Mark II comes with an A3 pistol grip and an ECS stock. Now, if you look at my rifle, you'll see I actually removed both of those things, and it wasn't necessarily because I didn't like the furniture the Griffin came with. It was more due to the fact that I like to keep things streamlined and familiar across all of my guns. So I put a B5 system pistol grip as well as a Magpul CTR stock. If I'm being honest, I actually liked the ECS stock that the Griffin came with, but I just happened to like the CTR stock that much more. I really like the curvature of the Magpul stocks just because it makes it easier for it to sit in the pocket of my shoulder. Since we're already talking about the rear of the gun, I want to talk about the buffer tube itself. If you look at the back of the buffer tube, you'll notice they'll have some holes. And if you look at the bottom of the buffer tube, there are 3 more holes that also double in function as position notches for your stock. This is the first time I've ever seen this on a rifle, and supposedly this is to allow excess gas, water, and debris to leave the main operating system. Part of me wanted to believe that having these holes could possibly introduce a new way for debris to enter the rifle, but I haven't cleaned this rifle since acquiring it, and I have not noticed any excessive buildup on the internals, excluding what's naturally going to collect over normal use. Moving on up, the Mark II actually comes with a QD end plate already installed. Up to this point, I've always attached my slings to my stock and my rail. But moving the sling attachment to the end plate has opened up more versatility in my weapons manipulations. So I'm really glad that this is a feature they added onto this rifle because it has now changed my sling position preference going forward. I guess now we can talk about the lower because that is pretty feature packed. As you guys know, the Griffin lower has been a hot commodity in the firearms market. This is due to the plethora of features and its price point. This lower alone is $219, give or take. And I believe it's worth even more than that sticker price. The Griffin lower stands out to me not just because of the features, but how subtle they introduce the features. The lower is fully ambidextrous, even though it's not really a need for most people. I do find it very convenient at times because sometimes I'll use the bolt release on the right-hand side of the gun if I'm looking to drop the bolt in the prone position. Same with actuating the safety. But going back to the bolt release on the right-hand side, I was pretty worried about the integrity of this small piece. It just kind of moves a little too freely for my liking. And though it does have spring tension on it, it seems very minute. If I'm being honest, I haven't had any issues with it, and I always make sure to actuate it a few times each range session. But just for peace of mind, I would probably want a little bit more spring tension here. That's just me being nitpicky. It works. On this side, you have a seemingly oversized bolt release for more normal standardized manipulations. So if you miss this thing on a reload, then you might need to do some more dry fire. But having an oversized bolt release really has no downsides that I can think of. I've had zero issues adjusting to it over the past 2 months, so yeah, oversized bolt release. I also really like the mag release on this side, as well as the mag release on this side. And the one on the left-hand side is a little bit more subtle, and it does have a little guard so you don't accidentally actuate it by hitting it on things. Because if you're a right-hand shooter, this part of the rifle is gonna be pressed against your body, so you don't wanna accidentally hit that. But my favorite thing about this lower is the flared mag well. I'm not one to make excuses, but I didn't realize how much of a difference a flared mag well would make when conducting reloads. During my first dry fire session, I instantly noticed a difference. And then at my matches, I found that reloads took up little to no bandwidth compared to other tasks I was focused on. I just find that I'm able to be more aggressive with my reloads with this being flared. Obviously, you can still fumble a reload, but overall, I saw it benefiting my performance in that aspect of my training. Moving a little bit further down, you do get a mil-spec-like trigger with this rifle package. So it was inevitable to switch that out for this LaRue trigger. This is my first time of using a LaRue trigger, and I'm really enjoying it. I'll probably make a video about this trigger in the coming weeks and how I think it compares to my trigger tech on my other rifle. But let's move on to the upper receiver. The receiver itself is what you would expect from any mil-spec upper receiver. The bolt is their enhanced mil-spec BCG, and when trying to determine the quality of a BCG, you have to run a significant amount of rounds with it and really pay attention to the wear and tear during that process. Like I said, I'm just north of 1,200 rounds, and through a few inspections, I've not seen any significant warning signs. In tandem with the BCG, we have this charging handle that Griffin Armament has coined the Snatch. I believe this is a Gen 2, but I have so much carbon buildup that I can't really see what generation it is, but I'm pretty sure it's a Generation 2. But this charging handle is designed to reroute gas away from your face. And this is especially important if you're running suppressed. I like how the levers are extended because it makes racking the bolt a very easy process. I know a lot of people like running the Raptor charging handles, but I personally can't stand those due to always slamming my knuckle when trying to pull the charging handle. The BCM Warfighter and the Snatch have become my two favorite charging handles so far. And that's because they're very generous when it comes to clearance for your hands. Moving on up to the handguard, it's pretty interesting because this is their low profile handguard. They made this low profile rail system to be lightweight but rigid enough to run aiming modules. I have yet to run night vision, but when I do, I definitely want to test out how this rail will hold up and to see if it'll hold zero over a course of a few training sessions. You get 3 rows of M-lock, and then you have Picatinny on the top, which is pretty standard when it comes to handguards. So you shouldn't have any issues with mounting all the accessories you'll need for whatever task you intend on taking on. This barrel is their 416R SS HEDP 14.5 pin and welded barrel, and it's chambered in 223 weld. Now, when I was looking for a new competition gun, I was looking for something that would give me just under 1.5 MOA. And on a good day, I can pull a 1 MOA group with 77 grain AAC. But I really want to test some other groupings with higher quality ammo just to see what I can pull off. This rifle's main purpose was to be used in competitions. And since I mostly shoot PCSL, the furthest I am shooting is around 250 to 300 yards. Now, I've stretched this out much further than that, 500 yards to be exact. And this rifle has proven to be more than capable to handle those distances on a reliable and consistent basis. So I definitely got more than I bargained for with this rifle. Last thing I want to talk about is what we got going up top. This is the Griffin Tactical Compensator. I run a brake on my other rifle, so the noise from this compensator doesn't really bother me, but the fireballs are pretty new. And the cool thing about this is that they have a taper mount system integrated into the compensator. And because of the way the taper mount is set up, your POI shift should be very minimal. Your suppressor will pretty much go on exactly the same way each time. They pin the gas block, and I really like that because pinned gas blocks reduce gas leaks and ensure a high level of reliability when you're running suppressed. And if you guys haven't noticed, this gun is built around the whole idea of being suppressed. So, why don't I have one on here? Simply put, I wanted to run and test this rifle the same way I've been running my rifles for years. I have little suppressor experience, and I wanted to make sure I had a chance to run this platform under the same stipulations I've run other weapon systems. With that being said, I have labeled this video as part 1. I intend on suppressing this rifle and doing a whole separate review. And that's because I want to have 2 different data sets for you guys to pull from. Not everyone has a suppressor, so I want to make sure you guys are getting good information on a rifle like this. So the price of this rifle is around that $1,700 to $1,800 mark. And a lot of you guys are going to ask me, is it worth it? After various range days, shooting out to distance, participating in matches, and being forced to store it in various conditions, I had 0 hiccups. The rifle has not malfunctioned, nor has it shown signs of imminent catastrophic failures. If you're going to build another rifle like a BCM, for example, you would end up in that $1,100, $1,300 price range, depending on the parts you used. So for $1,700, the Mark II, to me, it's definitely worth the price if you're looking for a one and done workhorse. I bring this up because not everyone is able to build an AR, nor do they want to. Building an AR is fun, and I've enjoyed it the few times I've done it, but many people are looking for the convenience of buying a complete build and heading to the range shortly after. It definitely brings a ton of useful and innovative features to the table, and as of right now, it has replaced my IWI for competition use. The tolerance is tighter, the performance is repeatable and consistent, it is more accurate than I will ever be, and I'm already seeing it maintain its durability over the IWI at similar round counts. Definitely take my opinion with a grain of salt, because no matter what brand you go with, make sure you do your own research and come to your own conclusion on said company. But like I said, I've been running this rifle pretty hard, and I've been training with it on a weekly basis, and it just keeps on ticking. Even when I'm shooting out to long range and my barrel starts to get hot because I'm going through a tremendous amount of rounds, I'm still seeing very accurate results and very consistent results out past the 400 mark. And I know a lot of you guys aren't gonna be getting a rifle like this for long range, but what I'm saying is that if it's able to maintain consistency at distance, then it's gonna do everything you need it to do within that 100-yard mark. But at the very minimum, if you are gonna build a rifle, I would definitely recommend the Mark II lower, because honestly, at that price point, you're getting so many features that you otherwise wouldn't get from another company. And I think going forward, if I'm gonna build another rifle, I'm gonna make sure I get a Mark II lower. If you enjoyed this video and wanna continue to help support this channel, consider taking a look at my Patreon. Over there, you guys will see behind the scene looks at upcoming videos. And we just started a chat for our Patreon members. So once a week, I'm gonna hop on that chat and answer any questions or just have conversations with the guys over there. But other than that, that's all I have for you guys today. As always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.